Did you know that every action you take, no matter how small, creates ripples that can affect not only your life, but the lives of others around you? What if I told you that the key to a balanced mind lies in understanding those ripples? Dear friends, welcome to the Motivation Zone at Freedom. Today, I want to share a powerful lesson from Buddhism, captured in the simple, profound metaphor of a pebble and a lake. Imagine this: a monk instructs his student to throw a pebble into a calm lake and watch how the ripples spread. But what does this seemingly small action teach us about our own actions and their consequences? How does it relate to achieving the inner peace and balance that so many of us seek? Let's explore together. Dear friend, let me share with you a simple yet powerful story that holds a deep lesson about the impact of our actions. It's a story that speaks to the way even the smallest of actions can shape the world around us and our inner peace. One day, a wise monk asked his student to do something very simple: take a small pebble and throw it into a calm, still lake. The student did as instructed, and as the pebble hit the water, ripples began to form, spreading outward across the entire surface of the lake. The student, intrigued, turned to the monk and asked, "What does this mean, master?" The monk smiled gently, looked at the student, and replied, "Every action you take creates ripples in the world." The student stood there, watching the ripples fade away, but the monk's words lingered in his mind. Every action, no matter how small it seemed, had a profound impact not just in the moment, but far beyond, reaching places we may never see or understand. The ripples didn't stop at the point where the pebble hit the water. They continued to spread across the entire lake. And so, my friend, this story reminds us that every action we take, whether a kind word, a thoughtful deed, or even a simple thought, creates ripples in our lives and the lives of others. It is through these ripples that we begin to understand the true nature of our interconnectedness with the world and the power of our actions, however small they may seem.
Dear friends, as we continue reflecting on the story of the pebble and the lake, let's dive deeper into how our actions truly shape the world around us and our inner peace. You see, every action we take, whether large or small, is connected to a universal law, the law of karma. Karma is the law of cause and effect, which tells us that every action, thought, or word we put out into the world has a corresponding result. Just as a pebble creates ripples in the lake, our actions create ripples in the fabric of our lives. When we perform positive actions, acts of kindness, generosity, or mindfulness, we generate good karma. This positive karma doesn't just affect the world around us, it also brings peace and balance to our minds. Imagine how a simple act of kindness, like holding the door open for someone or offering a smile, can brighten someone's day and, in turn, make us feel more connected to those around us. Each of these actions creates a ripple of goodwill, which in turn nurtures a peaceful and balanced mind, free from the negativity of anger, greed, or jealousy. By consciously choosing to act with goodness, we create an environment within ourselves that fosters calm, clarity, and harmony. Now, my friend, let's consider the role of compassion in our actions. Compassion is one of the most powerful forces in our lives. When we act with compassion, we move beyond our own self-centered desires and open our hearts to the needs of others. It's through compassion that we begin to understand life not just from our own perspective, but from the perspective of those around us. Compassion softens the edges of our ego and allows us to connect deeply with others. Think about the last time you offered compassion to someone, whether it was helping a friend in need or simply listening to someone with an open heart. Didn't you feel a sense of peace after that act? Compassion, in its truest form, doesn't expect anything in return. It's about giving freely from the heart. And when we act out of compassion, we not only uplift others, but we also uplift ourselves. Compassion brings balance to our relationships, dissolving barriers of judgment and resentment. It promotes empathy, understanding, and kindness, which in turn creates a peaceful and balanced mind, just like the calm water in the lake. As we cultivate compassion in our lives, we begin to experience a greater sense of harmony not just with others, but with ourselves. We become more attuned to the needs of those around us, and in doing so, we create a world that is kinder, more peaceful, and more balanced. And it is within this balanced world that our minds can truly find the peace and clarity we seek. Dear friends, let's now explore a crucial aspect of the Buddhist path, the cycle of suffering, or samsara, and how good actions can help us break free from it. In life, we all experience moments of suffering, whether it's physical pain, emotional distress, or the mental anguish that often comes with attachment, fear, or aversion. But in Buddhism, we understand that this suffering doesn't have to define our lives. There is a way to break free from it, and it begins with the choices we make in every moment. When we perform good deeds, acts rooted in wisdom, compassion, and mindfulness, we start to weaken the very mental states that keep us trapped in this cycle. You see, samsara is perpetuated by three main forces: ignorance, attachment, and aversion. Ignorance blinds us to the true nature of life and our connection to others. Attachment ties us to things, people, and experiences in a way that causes us to suffer when they inevitably change or are lost. And aversion keeps us in a constant state of resistance, rejecting the things we don't like or fear. But, my friend, every time we choose to act with kindness, patience, or mindfulness, we begin to loosen the grip of these negative mental states. Imagine how a simple act of letting go, whether it's letting go of anger, a grudge, or a desire, can create space for clarity and peace. By practicing right actions, we begin to weaken the hold that attachment has on our hearts and minds. When we act with wisdom, understanding that things are impermanent and that suffering is part of life, we begin to loosen the chains of ignorance that keep us in the dark about our true nature. In this way, good actions become the path to mental clarity and liberation. With every mindful step, we move further away from the endless cycle of craving and aversion, and closer to a state of inner peace and equanimity. When we perform acts of kindness and compassion, we not only benefit others but also ourselves, as we begin to break down the walls that keep us trapped in suffering. It's through these positive deeds that we can experience true freedom, a freedom from the unending cycle of samsara, and a journey toward lasting peace and happiness. So, my dear friend, remember that every small, good action you take is a step toward breaking the cycle of suffering. It's through these actions that we can transform our minds and hearts, moving toward a state of mental clarity and, ultimately, liberation from the pain and suffering that binds us.
Dear friends, imagine you are standing at the edge of a vast forest. The path ahead is unclear, and there are many twists and turns that could lead you in different directions. But, as you step forward, a wise guide comes to your side and says, "Look carefully. The path you take, the choices you make, will shape the journey ahead." This is the essence of samadhi, or right view, a clear, undiluted understanding of reality that guides us as we navigate life's complexities. Right view is like having a map that reveals the true nature of our actions, thoughts, and intentions. It teaches us that everything we do has consequences, just as the ripples in the lake spread further than we can see. Every thought, every word, every deed sends out a ripple into the world. If we act with wisdom, compassion, and mindfulness, those ripples will be positive, bringing balance and peace to our minds. But if we act out of ignorance, selfishness, or anger, the ripples will spread negativity and disturbance. Samadhi helps us understand this interconnectedness, showing us that each moment offers an opportunity to create positive change. With right view, we learn to act thoughtfully, knowing that every choice we make matters. As we deepen our understanding through right view, we naturally begin to develop wisdom, or prajna. This wisdom isn't just intellectual knowledge. It's the wisdom born from experience, from seeing life clearly without the distortion of our desires or fears. When we act according to Buddhist teachings, such as recognizing the impermanence of all things, the nature of suffering, and the concept of non-self, we begin to refine our understanding of life. We start to see that our attachment to things, people, and outcomes is the root of much of our suffering. And with this clarity, we cultivate a more balanced and peaceful mind. One of the most beautiful fruits of samadhi is the development of equanimity, or upika. Imagine, my friend, standing in the midst of a storm. The winds are fierce, the rain pouring down, but you remain calm. Your inner peace is not disturbed, even by the forces around you. This is equanimity, the ability to maintain mental balance, no matter the external circumstances. With right understanding, we begin to cultivate this balance, learning to stay composed regardless of life's challenges. We stop reacting impulsively to external situations, and instead, we respond with mindfulness and clarity. This mental balance, born from right understanding, is the key to maintaining inner peace, even in the midst of chaos. So, my dear friend, remember that right view samadhi is the foundation upon which we can build a balanced mind. It helps us understand the true nature of our actions and their consequences, guides us toward wisdom, and enables us to cultivate equanimity, allowing us to maintain peace and clarity no matter what life brings. With right view, the path ahead becomes clear, and every step we take leads us closer to the balanced, peaceful mind we seek. Dear friends, as we come to the end of our time together, let's reflect on the powerful teachings we've explored today. In Buddhism, we learn that good deeds, when performed with wisdom and compassion, create positive ripples that extend far beyond ourselves. These ripples bring balance and peace not only to our own minds, but also to the world around us. We've seen how right view, samadhi, guides us to understand the deeper truths of life, encouraging us to act in ways that promote harmony, balance, and wisdom. Cultivating a balanced mind isn't just about finding peace in the moment. It's the path to liberation and enlightenment. By aligning our actions with wisdom and compassion, we gradually free ourselves from the cycle of suffering and move closer to a state of lasting peace. This journey, my dear friend, is the true essence of what the Buddha offered to the world, the noble Dharma that leads us toward freedom, clarity, and inner peace. Let us honor the Buddha for giving us such a precious gift, the wisdom that can transform our minds, our lives, and ultimately, the world. By engaging in good deeds with the right intention and understanding, we take meaningful steps toward a life filled with peace, wisdom, and inner freedom. Thank you so much for joining me today. As you reflect on the ripples you create, remember, what ripples are you creating in the world? How do your actions influence the lives of others and the state of your own mind? I'd love to hear your thoughts, dear friend. Please feel free to share in the comments how you've experienced the results of your actions in life. How have your deeds created ripples that have impacted others? And how has that changed your own journey toward balance? Let's continue this conversation together.